One of the things that used to drive me crazy about my applicant tracking systems was there was always not enough data entered by my recruiters, or they had to enter everything. I want to show you how Salesforce actually handles required fields and help you make sure that you have the right data on the right records. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Salesforce for Recruiters. My name's Brad Owens, and I was just like you. I spent well over a decade in recruiting, using various pieces of technology that never really fit what I wish they could do for me. And then I saw Salesforce, and I went, where has this been all my life? And since then, I've been dedicating my career to helping both Salesforce and recruiters understand how this technology can actually be used for a use case. And today I want to talk about a very specific pain point that I used to have, and maybe you have it as well. When I used to use my applicant tracking system, I used to go in as a leader and go into certain fields and certain records and expect that there'd be some data in there, but there wasn't. Things like, how can you say that this is an accepted lead, or how can you say that this is a candidate we've got a good relationship with when you don't have a cell phone number in here or any other way of actually contacting this individual? That's not a good contact for us. So I want to take you through some of the features inside Salesforce that actually help you avoid this problem and make sure that you have the right data on the right records so that your recruiters can actually do their job a little bit better and you can feel more confident that they're getting the data that they need to move somebody through your process. So to do that, I'm going to share my environment and we're going to dig into a few different things. First thing that I want to talk about inside Salesforce that helps us make sure we get the right data at the right time is called page layouts. And page layouts are something inside Salesforce that changes what you see on the layout of the page depending on some sort of trigger field. So for today, I want to dig into the different types of fields on a job. So I've got a job here that's called an IT project manager. And you can see it's set up as a temp type job right now. And because of that, we've got two fields here that are called pay rate and bill rate. Now, if we were to change this job to something like a permanent type position, you can see that now we've changed this to salary and bonus and kind of a total comp number. So the things that are displayed on the page are changed based on a key field, and that's page layouts inside of Salesforce. Another thing inside Salesforce that you can use to help make sure that you've got the right data at the right time is required fields. So these required fields can be triggered in a number of different ways, but today we're going to work on a lead object. And here inside of Salesforce, you can see that I've got a lead, Brady here, that's in the research phase. So I'm doing some research and I want to go ahead and move them to, I'm going to approach this person. So I'm going to select the approach as the stage that I want to use, but down here, notice that we can see that lead cannot progress if the phone field is left blank. And indeed, we've got a blank field here for phone. So if I were to go back to the research stage and edit this to say, I've got a phone number for this person now and save it, you can see that I'm now going to be able to mark this stage as approach and it's successfully changed because I have a phone number. So that's how you can use required fields on an object to make sure that you have what you need to move something to a different stage or to update a record, any of these types of things, but that's called a required field. There are a number of different ways inside Salesforce to make sure that we capture the right information at the right time. One of my favorite ways was to set up paths for my recruiters and my salespeople. Now, a path inside Salesforce is what you see across the top here of this opportunity we're working on. We're trying to win a new job for a project manager, and you can see across the top the different stages that we go through to win these different types of opportunities. Now, if I were to just have this closed off of, hey, what kind of stage is this in? That doesn't really do a whole lot of good for my recruiters or my salespeople, in this case, my salespeople. But what I'm able to do inside a path is give guidance and key fields for each one of these stages. So you can see when we're in an accepted lead, so this is a lead that we've said, all right, sales is going to work this thing. We've accepted it. We likely are going to need to have two things. We need to have an idea of a probability we're going to win this thing. And then what's your next step? What are you actually going to accomplish next to make sure that this keeps progressing through? Those are things I wanted to collect at this stage. Then we've got the discovery stage. You can see that, again, we need a next step here in discovery. And then in proposal, there wasn't anything that we actually needed, but We are able to allow them to view what our sample contracts are and give them the idea of what our company guidelines are for that. So you can see that there's a number of different ways that we can add key fields, we can add guidance, and this makes sure that we collect and do the right things at the right time. And this is more in that line of what's required to move something through to the next stage, and how are you going to collect that information from either your salespeople or your recruiters. This is called paths inside Salesforce. Another way that we can make sure we're collecting the right information at the right time or entering the right fields throughout our process is with screen flows. Now, a screen flow inside Salesforce is when a screen pop-up shows inside of the environment, and it allows the user to enter a certain piece of information or pieces of information at the right time. I'm going to show you an example of one of those today. So inside of our Salesforce environment here, we've got Alaya, and Alaya has the ability now to be moved to an offer stage. So we're going to drag her into the offer stage, and now we need to create her actual offer. So you can see here a screen flow popped up to allow us to enter the right information that we need to enter to make sure that she gets the correct offer. So you can see that we can change her salary here to maybe 65. Or we can change to this is a rate-based thing to now maybe she's going to be offered 40 an hour. So we enter the right information. And then if we have this person on the phone and they accept this offer, so we can move into actually sending them a written offer letter, we can just list it as accepted right here. So now we have the ability to make sure that our recruiters and our salespeople have the information that they need at their fingertips and also are able to collect the right information at the right time. And this is through a screen flow inside of Salesforce. There's one other way to make sure that your employees are entering the right information in the right fields, and that comes down to validation rules. And what a validation rule is it looks for a specific set of criteria that each field that you create a validation rule for must comply with. So in our use case today, what we're going to look at is a phone number. So I'm here on Mariana's contact record, and you can see we don't have a mobile phone number for her. So if I was to do something like enter in phone number and not an actual phone number and click save, you're going to see that we get an error. It says review the mobile phone fields, and it says this field must contain a phone number. So instead, I'm going to edit this and just add a phone number and then click save. And now you can see it allowed me to do that and it formatted it correctly and everything. This is what a validation rule does. It makes sure that the data that your employees enter in a specific field actually fits the criteria that you define. And that's a validation rule inside Salesforce. So there you have it. We went through a number of different ways that you can verify and validate the type of data that your employees are entering so that they enter in the right data at the right time inside of your system. That used to drive me crazy with all of my ATSs that I was using in the past. They never really had these types of features. And this is why I really prefer using Salesforce for recruiting, because it gives you all these different types of features. If you like what you saw today, that was an applicant tracking system that's based on Salesforce called Assemble, and it's ASYMBL. It's the Assemble applicant tracking system. That's how I was able to do some of these things that you saw related to jobs and the different types of things related to features around an ATS. If you like this kind of content, there's plenty more at salesforceforrecruiters.com. If you have any specific questions you'd like me to answer on the next episode, just send them in. It's hello@bradowens.com is the best way to reach me. Happy to answer your questions on air. I do viewer specials all the time. But with that, I will turn you loose. I will see you on the next episode of Salesforce for Recruiters. Again, I'm your host, Brad Owens. Talk to you soon. Bye.